right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
A presidential election plunged into frightening new territory after the assassination attempt on former President Trump shakes the nation. Tonight, we'll examine what happened, its impact on the race, and what it means for America's democratic process.
You could see there was blood, and there was blood on one of the Secret Service.
Plus a chilling first-hand account of the shooting from two local women who were there.
A weather impact alert continues Monday for heat and humidity, plus a timeout storm chances, and then a big cool down.
But first, a man walks into a Bell Fountain church and opens fire.
All I could do was remember my training for active shooters.
Good evening, I'm Mike Bush. Tonight, police are still looking for the gunman who shot at a security guard inside a North St. Louis County church. Fortunately, no one was hurt. As 5 on Your Side's Robert Townsend explains, police and the church's pastor quickly sprung into action.
I want you to go on further.
1 hour after he started preaching his Sunday sermon at Grace New Covenant Church in North St. Louis County, Pastor Tommy Harsley suddenly brought his message to an end.
We're going to pray right now. We have a word that there's been a shooting in the other building.
Police say at 11:57 a.m., gunshots rang out just down the street inside Grace New Covenant's Outreach Ministry Center on Chambers Road in Bell Fountain Neighbor.
Approximately 11:58, our officers were on scene.
Police say a man shot a security guard inside the building as members of Brothers and Sisters Christ Fellowship Church were having service. For the past year and a half, the congregation has rented this building from Grace New Covenant. About 40 members, including lots of children, were inside at the time of the shooting.
The suspect was already present at the church when the victim walked in, and then he came back and confronted the victim.
Police say the suspect then fired at the security guard. The guard returned fire. We're told the two men are members of Brothers and Sisters in Christ Fellowship Church, and police call them extended family members. Police tell us this security camera you see right here actually caught the suspect on video as he walked through the church's front door with a handgun.
If I can get everybody safe, I'll be okay.
A startled Pastor Ernest Howard, grateful nobody was hurt, he quickly told his members to take cover.
All I could do was remember my training for active shooters, because our church has been trained for that, to make sure everybody shut the doors off, get down in the back, and we need peace among ourselves.
Robert Townsend, 5 on Your Side.
Tonight, there are calls for unity after the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. The investigation now focused on the deceased 20-year-old suspect, and many are calling yesterday's incident a failure by Secret Service. Our report tonight from NBC's Jay Gray.
His face bloody, fist raised.
Let me get my shoes on.
Former President Trump rushed from the stage after an assassination attempt. Chaos and panic. Now, a full day later, giving way to prayers and calls for unity. Mr. Trump writing on social media, "In this moment, it is more important than ever that we stand united and show our true character as Americans." A message echoed by President Biden.
You know, the political record in this country has gotten very heated. It's time to cool it down. We all have a responsibility to do that.
The former president traveling to Milwaukee this afternoon ahead of the Republican National Convention as dual investigations intensify. The FBI focused on the alleged shooter, 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks. Agents saying he was armed with a semi-automatic rifle registered to his father and that explosive materials have been identified inside his car and home. While Homeland Security agents tried to determine how it could have happened, how a rooftop less than 150 yards from the rally was left open and accessible.
Coverage of this building and the roof was built in to the overall security plan, and coverage fell through the cracks, which means nobody ensured that coverage was actually in place, or it wasn't built into the overall plan at all.
We're also learning more about a firefighter in the crowd, Corey Comparator, killed in the crossfire. A husband and father of two young girls.
Corey died a hero. That Corey dove on his family to protect them last night.
Two others in the crowd were wounded and remain in the hospital tonight, their conditions upgraded from critical to stable. Jay Gray, NBC News, Butler, Pennsylvania.
Multiple people from our area attended the Trump rally, including a mother and daughter. They sat just 8 rows back from the podium where former President Trump was speaking. 5 on Your Side's Mercedes McKay followed their terrifying experience as they still try to absorb what happened.
I've come to tears a couple times, but it's so overwhelming.
Lynn Piwowarczyk and her daughter Dee Piwowarczyk Gilmore were among the thousands spending hours in the Pennsylvania heat to show their support for former President Donald Trump.
From 10 until 1, we stood just in lines, like they cattle herd you in. And then we went through Secret Service. They wand us and we went through the metal detectors.
Just 8 rows behind the podium, the mother and daughter duo were anxious to hear from the former president when the unthinkable happened.
He was speaking for less than 10 minutes when all this happened. And when it first happened, it was really a light sound.
While many questioned the noise at first, Lynn said it didn't take them long to realize someone tried to shoot Trump.
We could see there was blood, and there was blood on one of the Secret Service. And so we knew he had gotten hit.
Dee describing the terrifying moments as instant chaos.
You could see them rushing Trump off the stage, and then the Secret Service started yelling at us, "Get down, get down, get down." So everybody got back down.
This is video Dee shot of them escorting the former president out of the rally. In an NBC and AP footage, Lynn can be seen in the background, her husband seeing it for himself on TV and asking why she wasn't ducking down.
There were people laying where our feet go, and, we were crowded in there. So I had the gentleman next to me laying on the ground. I had the lady next to me laying on the ground. I said there was nowhere for me to lay.
Nearly 24 hours later, both women still trying to wrap their heads around this moment in history. A moment they still haven't quite processed.
I don't think we've absorbed all of what has happened.
Mercedes McKay, 5 on Your Side.
And both women will be heading back to St. Louis tomorrow. Tonight, a local doctor who treats bullet-related injuries is warning the community about the trauma that can impact people who were at the rally and even those who weren't. 5 on Your Side's Annie Krall continues our team coverage from the newsroom. Annie?
Mike, Dr. L.J. Punch has treated patients in trauma centers for years, moving to the St. Louis area after the Ferguson unrest in 2014. Now, on Washington University's faculty, Dr. Punch unpacked with me how those who were shot yesterday at Trump's rally aren't the only ones going to be left with scars. Trauma surgeon Dr. L.J. Punch is the executive director of Power for STL, a local nonprofit focused on gun-related harm reduction. Seeing the assassination attempt of former President Trump, Dr. Punch thought
that an entire nation watched a former president have their life threatened. And I knew that that would mean an outbreak of bullet-related injury and broken trust.
Bullet-related injuries are the physical, emotional, and social impact on a person shot or those they love. Authorities say one rally attendee was killed, 2 spectators critically injured Saturday. Trump's right ear pierced by a bullet. Dr. Punch says physical injuries tend to get worse, not better, over the first few days.
And that is because of the body's inflammation. In the act of trying to heal the wound, there can be increased tenderness, increased drainage, and then the scarring kicks in that can also increase nerve-related pain.
And you used the word trauma before. How traumatic is this for the American people in the sense of what can manifest, effects, side effects of seeing a world that we now live in?
When you have trauma, it's not like having any other illness. It changes the way you eat, sleep, move, and think. It can be difficult to rest. It can be difficult to enjoy the day-to-day things you normally would. But most of all, it can be difficult to believe that the people around you are people who love you.
Inspiring efforts at the Bullet-Related Injury Clinic, or BRIC, near Delmar and Union Boulevard, a holistic treatment approach through therapy, anatomical care, and spiritual guidance. Dr. Punch asked people in the St. Louis area to not have this assassination attempt inflame tensions, rather to use it as a time to check in on one another, since it may trigger past trauma if someone has lost a loved one or been impacted by gun violence. Mike?
And stay up to date with 5 on Your Side for the latest information on the attempted assassination. Much more coming up, including a look ahead to the Republican National Convention. You can find us on air, on KSTK.com, and on the 5+ app. Well, with the heat index well over 100 degrees today and tomorrow, we're in a weather impact alert. Meteorologist Jim Castillo is here with details on this blistering heat. Jim?
Yeah, Mike. So today's high 96, tomorrow about 100. And the problem with it is that dew point is in the lower 70s. So we're going to see these numbers by 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Heat plus humidity up to 110. So you get the idea. You need to stay cool, stay hydrated here all the way through 8 p.m. on Monday. And again, heat affects everyone that doesn't have effective cooling going on, whether you're in the water or whether you find an air-conditioned spot to hang out in. Again, that heat advisory until 8 p.m. on Monday. It's 87 right now in St. Louis, probably a low of 80 degrees by tomorrow morning. South wind at 11 miles an hour. And then we had a couple surprise pop-up little showers in here today. Even a viewer in House Springs reported a sprinkle. Nothing big, but we'll talk about when we have a good chance of showers and storms and then a big cool down coming up.
Presidential protection. A local security expert breaks down the response of the Secret Service at the Trump rally. And political analyst Anita Mannion shares some insight on what this assassination attempt means for the November election.